Hey everyone, welcome back to Heart to Heart, the podcast where we get real about life's ups, downs, and everything in between. I'm Mark, sitting here with my amazing co-host, Sarah. How's it going, Sarah?
Hey, Mark. Doing great, though I'll admit I spilled coffee on my notes before we started, so, keeping it real already.
Classic. That's what we're here for, right? No polished perfection, just honest conversations. Today we're diving into life, what it means, how we navigate it, and maybe sharing a few embarrassing stories along the way.
Absolutely. And listeners, we want this to feel like you're sitting with friends at a cozy cafe. So grab your drink of choice, mine's an oat milk latte, and let's jump in.
Okay, first big question. How do you define a good life? Is it happiness, success, fulfillment?
I used to think it was about checking boxes. Graduate, get a job, get married, buy a house. But after my dad passed away last year, I realized it's about moments, like laughing so hard your stomach hurts, or that quiet feeling when you're with someone and don't need to talk.
Wow, that hits hard. For me, it's about alignment. Doing work that doesn't feel like work, being around people who energize you, and having enough space to breathe. But society makes it seem like it's about more money, more followers, more hustle.
Right? And social media amplifies that. You see someone's perfect vacation, but not their stress behind the scenes. I've started asking myself, am I living for the gram or for me?
That's a great litmus test. I've also learned the hard way that comparison is a joy thief. Like, my friend's a CEO, and I'm over here proud I remember to water my plants this week. Switching gears, relationships. Sarah, why do you think friendships shift in your 30s?
Oh man. In my 20s, it was about who'd go out till 2 a.m. Now, it's who will drive you to the ER at 2 a.m. True story. Depth over drama,
Yes, and you stop forcing connections. If a friendship feels like a chore, it's okay to let it fade.
What about romantic relationships? What's your green flag no one talks about?
How they talk about other people. If they're kind to waiters and exes, chef's kiss. Also, shared values greater than shared hobbies. My ex and I loved hiking, but disagreed on everything important.
Preach. I'll take weird but kind over hot but emotionally unavailable any day.
Okay, let's circle back to those life lessons. Sarah, unpack that your body is a partner thing for me.
For years, I treated my body like it was working against me, criticizing every flaw, pushing through exhaustion. Then I got sick with mono in my late 20s, and my body basically said, nope, we're done. That forced me to realize my body isn't some separate thing I drag around. It's me. When I'm tired, it's not being lazy, it's communicating. When I'm sore, it's asking for care. Now I ask, what do you need? Instead of, why are you failing me?
That's profound. I had the same realization with sleep. For years, I'd bragged about functioning on 4 hours like it was a badge of honor. Then I crashed my car from exhaustion. Nothing serious, but it scared me straight. Now I protect my sleep like it's my job.
Which ties right into your say no lesson. Why is that so hard for people?
Because we're conditioned to equate busyness with worth, but every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters, like sleep or your dog's dramatic size.
Which brings us to tiny joys. Mine's fresh basil this week. There's something magical about tearing up leaves and smelling that peppery scent. It's like a mini meditation.
For me, it's my dog, Buddy. The way he huffs when he flops onto the couch like he's just run a marathon, comedy gold. It reminds me not to take life so seriously.
Okay, let's circle back to those life lessons. Sarah, unpack that your body is a partner thing for me.
For years, I treated my body like it was working against me, criticizing every flaw, pushing through exhaustion. Then I got sick with mono in my late 20s, and my body basically said, nope, we're done. That forced me to realize my body isn't some separate thing I drag around. It's me. When I'm tired, it's not being lazy, it's communicating. When I'm sore, it's asking for care. Now I ask, what do you need? Instead of, why are you failing me?
That's profound. I had the same realization with sleep. For years, I'd bragged about functioning on 4 hours like it was a badge of honor. Then I crashed my car from exhaustion. Nothing serious, but it scared me straight. Now I protect my sleep like it's my job.
Which ties right into your say no lesson. Why is that so hard for people?
Because we're conditioned to equate busyness with worth, but every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters, like sleep or your dog's dramatic size.
Which brings us to tiny joys. Mine's fresh basil this week. There's something magical about tearing up leaves and smelling that peppery scent. It's like a mini meditation.
For me, it's my dog, Buddy. The way he huffs when he flops onto the couch, like he's just run a marathon, comedy gold. It reminds me not to take life so seriously.
You know what's wild? People spend more time picking a Netflix show than tailoring their resume for a job application.
Guilty as charged. But in my recruiting days, I could spot a generic resume from across the room. They all start with that same tired, hard-working team player with excellent communication skills.
And end with references available upon request, like it's 1995. Sarah, what's the first thing you actually look for when scanning applications?
Impact. Show me what changed because you were there. Did sales increase? Did processes get faster? Did you solve some annoying problem everyone ignored?
Exactly. Here's the magic formula. Accomplished X by doing Y, resulting in Z. For example, reduced customer service response time 40% by implementing a new ticketing system, saving the company $120K annually.
Now that makes me sit up in my chair. But here's where candidates go wrong. They think this only applies to managers or senior roles. Mark, tell them about your barista client.
Right. College student applying for her first corporate job. Her resume said, made coffee. We changed it to boosted cafe revenue 15% by remembering 100+ regulars orders and creating personalized upsell opportunities. Got 3 interviews.
That's the secret. Every job has transferable skills. Warehouse worker, that's logistics optimization. Babysitter, that's crisis management and scheduling.
Which brings us to the biggest job search myth.
Dramatic pause, that you need to meet 100% of the qualifications to apply.
Bingo. Job descriptions are wish lists, not checklists. If you hit 60 to 70%, apply. Especially women. Research shows men apply when they meet just 50%.
And while we're busting myths, no, you don't need to stay at jobs for 2+ years anymore. The stigma's gone.
Thank God. Now, let's talk about the interview killer question.
What's your greatest weakness?
The only wrong answer is I work too hard. Try this. Name a real weakness, then show how you're improving. For example, I used to struggle with delegating because I wanted everything perfect. Now I use project management tools and set clear checkpoints with my team.
Shows self-awareness and growth. Now for salary talk. What's your golden rule?
Never say a number first. When they ask, respond, I'm open to discussion based on the total compensation package. What range is budgeted for this role?
And remember, salary is just one piece. That extra week of vacation or remote Fridays might be worth $10K to you.
Final pro tip, after interviews, send a thank you note with one specific thing you enjoyed learning about their work. Makes you memorable.
And if you get rejected, send this email. Thanks for the update. I'd love any feedback to improve. Also, please keep me in mind for future roles. I'm genuinely excited about your mission. 20% of the time, it works every time.
That's not how math works, Sarah. But she's right. Graceful rejections can lead to future opportunities.
Bottom line, job searching isn't about sending more applications. It's about sending smarter ones.
And remembering your worth isn't defined by any single job. Now go update those resumes. We believe in you. Okay, let's be real.
Getting the job offer is just the beginning. That first day walking into the office? Total imposter syndrome central.
Right? Like, they're gonna realize they hired me by accident any minute now. But here's the secret, everyone feels that way, even the CEO.
First rule of corporate Fight Club, nobody actually knows what they're doing. We're all just figuring it out as we go.
So true, but there are ways to not just survive, but thrive. First 90 days, what's your game plan?
Phase 1, shut up and listen. Take notes like you're writing a novel about this company. Notice who makes decisions, where the landmines are.
Yes, identify the office shirkas, those people who've been there forever and know where all the bodies are buried. Buy them coffee.
Phase 2, quick wins. Find small problems you can solve fast to build credibility. Like that time my client noticed the team was drowning in spreadsheets.
Oh, she created one simple shared dashboard?
Boom, instant hero status. Which leads to phase 3, strategic relationships. You want allies in at least 3 departments.
Crucial, because when Karen from accounting says, that's not how we do things here, you need people who'll say, actually, this could work.
Now, let's talk about the unspoken rules, like lunch etiquette.
Oh God, yes. Never heat fish in the office microwave. That's how civilizations fall.
And the hierarchy of meetings. If you're invited but never speak, your audience. Speaking sometimes, participant. Running it, now you're playing the game.
Here's what no one tells you. Your real job description is whatever your boss cares about most this quarter. The written JD, ancient history.
Which is why you need monthly "How am I doing" chats. Not waiting for annual reviews where they drop bombshells.
And for the love of all that's holy, document everything. That brilliant idea you shared in passing, someone will claim it as theirs.
Email recap. Per our conversation, I'll move forward on X and Y. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments. CYA forever.
Now the big question, when do you start pushing back? Because yes and turns into burnout real fast.
Month 4 is when you earn the right to say, help me understand the priority here. I'm working on A and B. Should those wait?
Beautiful. Sets boundaries while showing you're a strategic thinker.
Final survival tip, your coworkers aren't your family. Be friendly, but remember, this is a business relationship.
100%. The person who overshares at happy hour becomes the gossip topic by Monday.
But do find your work bestie, that one person who'll tell you when you have spinach in your teeth before the big presentation.
And remember, no job is forever. Learn what you can, build your network, and leave before you stop growing.
Mic drop. Now, go forth and conquer after you delete those pre-work selfies from the office bathroom.
But here's what nobody prepares you for. The first time you realize your dream job isn't, well, dreamy.
Oh yes, that moment when the shine wears off and you're staring at your laptop at 4:30 p.m. on a Tuesday like, this is it?
Exactly. So let's talk about the 3 stages of workplace disillusionment.
Wait, is stage 1 still pretending to understand the acronyms in meetings?
Absolutely. You're just nodding along like, yes, of course, we should QBR the KPIs for the Q3 OKRs.
Stage 2 is when you realize your innovative company still runs on Excel sheets from 2003.
And stage 3, when you discover the office fridge thief. That's when true character emerges.
Here's the real talk. No job is 100% awesome 100% of the time. The key is finding one that's 70% great and 30% tolerable.
Which brings us to the Sunday night test. If you regularly get that pit in your stomach around 7 p.m. on Sundays,
red flag. Either the job's wrong or your approach needs to change. First step, identify what's actually draining you. Is it the work itself, the people, or just that soul-crushing commute?
Example, my client hated her reporting tasks, but loved mentoring. She trained an intern to handle reports and created a mentorship program. Total game changer.
And if you do decide to move on, leave like a pro. 2 weeks notice, thorough handover, gracious goodbye. The world's smaller than you think.
Final wisdom, careers aren't ladders anymore. They're jungle gyms. Sometimes you move sideways, sometimes you hang out on the same level for a while.
And sometimes you need to just drop down and find a whole new structure to climb, and that's okay.
Now go forth and adult, or at least fake it convincingly until happy hour. All right, let's tackle the real challenge,
balancing work and marriage, because nothing tests love like a shared Google Calendar.
Or when you're both on Zoom calls in the same apartment, silently mouthing, "I will murder you," because someone's talking too loud.
First rule of dual career couples, never assume your spouse can read your mind about household stuff. That's how dishwashers become battlegrounds.
Preach. My husband once unloaded it wrong. Apparently spoons don't go there, and I swear I saw our future flash before my eyes.
Solution? The Sunday Summit. 30 minutes every weekend to align on who's handling groceries, kids, dry cleaning, big work deadlines, so no surprises, and one guilt-free me time slot for each of you.
Game changer. And for the love of all that's holy, outsource what you can. If you can afford a cleaner or grocery delivery, it's cheaper than divorce.
Now, the forbidden topic. What happens when one person's career takes off and the other's stalls?
Ooh, this is where resentment creeps in. Best advice I got, frame it as our career phase, not yours versus mine. Maybe this year his job demands more travel, so you pick up slack at home. But next year, roles reverse.
And if one person earns way more, ditch the 50-50 money split. Pool incomes, then allocate fun money equally. No power imbalances.
But here's the sneaky stressor, work venting. Your spouse is not your unpaid therapist. Set rules like, I need 10 minutes to decompress before we talk about my idiot boss.
And when work follows you home, physical boundaries. No laptops in bed, no emails during date night, and for the love of all things holy, no just one quick work call during anniversary dinners.
Final pro tip, schedule intimacy. I know it sounds unsexy, but if you wait for the right moment, you'll be two ships passing in the night forever.
And if all else fails, remember why you married them, even if they leave socks right next to the hamper.
Amen. Now go hug your work from home mate after they mute their mic.
Let's talk resilience. Mark, what's a time life walloped you and how'd you get back up?
2 years ago, I was laid off. Felt like my identity was ripped away. I was Mark the marketing guy for a decade. But it forced me to ask, who am I without the title? I started therapy, took a pottery class, terrible at it, and realized my worth isn't tied to my LinkedIn profile.
That's powerful. For me, it was my divorce. I hated the word failure until my therapist said, what if it's not failure, but a redirection? Game changer.
How do you handle fear now? Like the what if I'm not enough spiral?
I name it. Literally say, hi, imposter syndrome, I see you. Then I call my sister, who reminds me of past wins. Also, I keep a hype file of nice texts and emails. Corny, but it works.
Stealing that, I journal. Writing down, I'm scared of X, but I can handle Y, makes it smaller.
You know what I realized this week? Marriage isn't about finding someone to live with. It's about finding someone you can work from home with without going insane.
Truer words have never been spoken. Remember when we thought sharing a Netflix account was the ultimate relationship test?
How naive we were. The real test is when you're both on back-to-back Zoom calls, silently mouthing, I will end you, because someone's typing too loud.
And yet, there's something beautiful about building a life where your partner knows exactly how you take your coffee and exactly which clients make you want to scream into a pillow.
Nodding. It's that unspoken language you develop. Like when I come out of my office rubbing my temples, my wife just slides a glass of wine across the counter without a word.
That's love in the trenches, not flowers and chocolates, but I'll handle dinner tonight because your boss is being unreasonable again.
So here's to all the couples out there navigating spreadsheets and shared calendars, and whose turn is it to call the plumber?
May your Wi-Fi be strong, your coffee stronger, and may you never have simultaneous important meetings when the kids are homesick.
And remember, at the end of the day, it's not about balance. It's about having someone who'll laugh with you when it all goes sideways.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go apologize to my husband for the dishwasher incident of 2024.
And I need to explain why there are 37 tabs open on our shared computer titled, How to Look Busy on Zoom. Well, that's all the wisdom we've got for you today, folks, at least until our next therapy session.
podcast episode.
Yes, thank you all for joining us on Heart to Heart. Whether you're listening during your commute, while folding laundry, or hiding from your family in the bathroom for 5 minutes of peace, we appreciate you.
And remember, marriage, careers, and dishwashers are all messy, but that's what makes life interesting.
So be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, and for the love of all that's good, rinse your dishes before putting them in the sink.
Until next time, this is Mark
And Sarah.
signing off with love, laughter, and a little less passive-aggressive sticky notes.